Welcome back to The Boys, Season 4 renew. Fuck. It's
Oh
going to be one of
boy.
those casts. It's a late one. The Season 4 finale review. We are here at the end of it all. The penultimate season to the final season. Think about that. I am the Clown Prince of Switching, Travis Snail, and I'm joined by...
The soup syphilis, Taylor Field.
Oh boy, it's not what you want to get. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, go check out. There's lots on the feed right now. There is the finale review for Acolyte. There's a big old 3-hour newscast, which was, I think, maybe our best newscast here. I think we had lots of fun on that one. That was just like, I think those are the ones that we keep going too long. That's why, because we're having a good time. You guys just reviewed Twisters, so check out that. That'll be on the feed the same time this is. And then there's this. And then next week, bunch of good stuff. A really good side quest episode. We got Comic-Con coverage, and Deadpool and Wolverine is a week away, Taylor. At this time, we would have seen the movie. So, yeah. And we're doing Comic-Con predictions, so you want to subscribe. Next week, lots of stuff. And then 2 weeks from now, August 3rd, GeekVerse.ca. Oh, God, not going to give you the whole rigmarole, but 4 events. 8-hour stream to celebrate the 9-year anniversary. There's a way to make that stream go longer to support us on Patreon. You can find all the details there. But there's Geek Versus, our debate of fighting Deadliest Warrior theme of fictional characters. We got our 2012 Golden Geeks, which is our Oscars. We have the trivia battle, which we just did all the roster reveals on the last news episode. And then me and Taylor will be wrestling in our 4th match to settle some squabbles and everything like that. But luckily, sometimes the Geek versus like Civil War, but not like what's going on with the boys, because we're hitting on some DEFCON 5 stuff. But what did you think, Taylor, of this episode, and this being a closeout for the 4th season, and like I said, the setup for the last season next year?
So I was thinking, like, okay, this is.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
As we were going along through the episode, I was thinking, like, man, I feel like it's like slightly underwhelming, but just because, like, I feel like we have so much that we still need to cover. I feel like this is just like. This is the finale, and I feel like all the other finales have kind of really wrapped up that season kind of in a nice bow, but left it open-ended in a relatively nice way that we know more is to come.
This is the last one, though.
That's exactly it. So when you get to the end of this episode, in retrospect, I felt pretty good about it, because I feel like the ending justified, and it reflected well on the events of this episode and this season, that this just really acts as that setup. And man, next season's going to be absolutely bonkers as the final season, and I really can't wait for where we're at, because the things that are going on with some of our characters here was great, and I think that it caught me actually by surprise how this episode ended. I was not expecting it. There were certain characters that had unexpected destinies, I will say, and that was quite a surprise. But yeah, I'm so excited to see what we get. But I'm imagining we're gonna get like Gen V season 2 first, and then we'll get Boys season 5, which, like, I don't mind that. But really, all in all, I just want Boys season 5. I don't want any more Gen V stuff. Like, I can come after season 5 or something like that.
So even if they just say, like, hey, because they've said you're not gonna like this, they've said The Boys doesn't come out to 2026. So, but then, like, let's say if Gen V doesn't exist, you just get no Boys content at all. So I feel like Gen V with this season is going to be, it's going to be particular to what's happening in this show. So wouldn't you take Gen V over nothing?
Yeah, I guess
the answer
I
would
would.
just, it's not like they're doing Gen V in spite of the boys. Just the boy, like, I feel like it is kind of like this is
I
the
don't
best
even
we got
know
right
if I
now.
would take it, because I'd watch it and be like, man, this isn't the Boys. I just want the Boys. I want all my characters back.
Thought we liked Gen V,
We do, but
You might
I
get
will
them
say
that Homelander
after
last season, right? There's a chance.
at the very end.
So
After
maybe
watching
more
Gen
this time.
V, it was just like, man, I like Gen V for what it was, but I really wanted the Boys. The Boys is just that special, like, all those characters, like the Deep and Black Noir, and just how they interact with each other.
Deep.
Like, you're not,
That's
you're
the
not.
guy you shout out.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. What does he say again? What is some of his
I'm
bullshit
responsible for
lines?
racism. Whatever that first line was, that opening. Oh my goodness, I was laughing my ass off there with the multiple jokes they're doing there. So, is that all your overalls, sir?
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
Yeah. I am with Taylor and his initial thoughts that I am underwhelmed. I don't think it is. This season's very interesting. I'm going to be interested to watch the season over in the past because I feel like I said it, and now luckily I'm always down for people to adopt it, but I feel like everyone's taken the like, yeah, this is a setup season. I'm not saying like I said to Twitter, I mean like in our sphere of Geek First people, and that's where I do not think it's a bad season. I think the show is good. It's not anything that I'm worried about. It's not a step. Like, it is a step down in my opinion, but it's not such a massive down. I'm like, oh man, how are they going to end this? I don't think that. I do just think that the last three, we finally got a lot of stuff happening. And I feel like I said before, there was a lot of character work in this season. Some good and justified, and others just wait till I get to fucking Frenchie, man. Like, just wasting my fucking time this show with this character. And I like that character, and that's a good thing. That's the thing that happens, at least with the boys, is even if there's a storyline you're mad on, it's like, well, characters are well acted for the most part. They're well written. It's maybe the story around them that's not well written. But, yeah, so this episode still was good, but I did feel underwhelmed. I think it's the first time for me that the boys ended. My hair is a fucking disaster as I look. I got back from the beach, so it's like something else. You know what? Gonna throw in the girl's headband here. You know, look at this.
There you go.
Bust out some rainbows. Yeah. It's the first time because like I can't say till we get into spoilers, but I wasn't. It should. This is the setup to the final season, and some big stuff happens here. This is the first season, The Boys, where I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait till next year." As far as like or whenever the next season, like I can't wait. Like I'm excited because I like the show, but I just mean in the sense that I'm not on the edge of my seat. Especially lots of people be like, "I can't believe they ended on a." I don't care. I'll say it. They ended on a cliffhanger. To me, it's like the cliffhanger is like a very like. I feel like it's gonna get resolved very easily in like the first episode. I'd heard that before, so I was like, "Fuck, what happens in The Boys?" So maybe that was it too. But I think there's just certain choices as well that character choices, and minor spoilers, but still, people die all the time. Certain characters meeting their end, not a fan of. Certain things that I think there's about two storylines where I just go, "Well, wasn't a waste of time." But it definitely feels lesser than it feels like when I have to rewatch the show. There's a few episodes in season 4 where I'll go, I don't know if we needed this. This could have been different stuff. And there's a few other character choices too. So overall, still like a good episode. I think the episode alone, I think is like a 7 out of 10. Some good comedic beats, some good kind of twists and reveals, some good just shit hitting the fan. So it's still good. I'll always preference that. I just think I am a little underwhelmed, and I feel like all the Boys season finales have always been a grip it and rip it, man. I need season 5 stat where I do because it's the last one. That's why. But if I didn't know it was the last one, that's where I'd start to worry. And this is where I've said before, this is a good thing that it's ending because I think sometimes shows run this when they get in that 4, 5, 6 territory and they start to run out of steam, and I'm happy that they go, well, next year or whatever, next season, that's the last one, because all my kind of worries are going, okay, they're leading to the grand finale, even if it felt like they hold some stuff back, and again, even in this episode, some of my issues are not that they held stuff back. It was some choices that I just didn't jive with overall. I don't think there's anything that I like hated or think is awful. I think there's one thing they do with Frenchie that I'm just like, man, again, I just feel like they never know what the fuck to do with these characters, in my opinion, make them really interesting. So they wasted our time this entire season just to get us to where we were last year again, pretty much, to like a few new developments. That's like, man, like, again, I feel like maybe they should just kill them off at some point. I don't know, but I like Frenchie, so I'm not that mad about it. But yeah, so good finale, not super strong. I think the season is a mixed bag, but overall, because the writing is clever and the performances are good and there's some cool moments, overall it's still we'll get into final thoughts and stuff like that. I think I easily have this ranked last for the Boys seasons, but still like a good show that I was never like, oh man, we're like we've talked about with Acolyte or some other shows lately where I go, man, this choice just doesn't make sense. I have a couple of those with this show, but they're more to a minor degree where the shows might miss up the really big stuff, where I think for the most part the really big stuff is fine. There's one I want to talk to you about because I just don't know how I feel about it yet, but we will get there. Anything else non-spoilers you have to say?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we're going to get into spoilers, so we're going to take our ad break, and then we'll be right back after this. And we're back. And a quick shout out to Patreon. Unless you want to wait till Geek First Day, because if you up your tier or join the Patreon, we will go longer and the stream will make increments soon, but there'll be increments of 10, 15, 20, half an hour, stuff like that. It'll be a good time. But you can also, right now, if you just want those episodes ad-free and early and exclusive, you don't want to listen to those ads, you can join Patreon right now. So we appreciate everyone that is on there right now. Taylor, where do you want to start?
Oh my goodness. I felt like that the shifter would be a little bit more. There would have been a little bit more to that, but I feel like it was wrapped up. Even
Shifter. I put switching. Oops, I ruined that. That's okay. In my
I-
name.
I felt that even Annie's kind of not fallout to it, but her
Her reaction's not good, in my opinion.
No, like I think at the start it was okay, but it just was wrapped up way too quick.
I don't even think at the start because, I'm not trying to make this super serious because the boys does this and they have a tongue-in-cheek sort of thing, but like, call what you will, Huey was sexually assaulted multiple times. He didn't know what he said yes and willing, but he did not know this person took advantage of him. It's to me it would be the same way if someone's sleeping with an intoxicated person. They may say yes in that moment, but they don't know what they're doing, so you don't do that. You don't. That's a line, and that's where, for me, how I get in shows I gotta do like, how did you not know it was me? But you're in the fucking boys where some of these characters, like this character literally could become half her fucking.
She has all your memories.
Yeah, her memory. So that's where I thought they made her go a little too hard on Huey, especially because some people already. I didn't hate it as much, but I got the complaints, especially people that have suffered from it. 2 episodes ago, they did that with Huey, right? Where he got sexually assaulted a bunch when he was the web weaver character. But that was all played for laughs. And then again, here, it's not all played for laughs, but I feel like it's... I was kind of expecting the Annie character to be a bit more... I won't say consoling, but not... I was going to not expect her to be as hard as she was, as the point where it looked like they're going to break up again. I did not think we are going to go that route, because... I don't know, and he even made the speech about how he figured it out, so I didn't love the handling of that, and then I agree with you, if they're going to make her mad, then I thought, okay, they're breaking them up, I don't like it, but they made her all really worked up to just kind of forgive him very quickly. So at the end of the day, I kind of just wish that they both felt shitty about the situation, but not mad at Huey. Of just like, man, even that little freak out she did about, hey, I'm not perfect, I have all these issues, I'm nervous. This, I think you still could have done that without her kind of pointing the finger, being like, you fucked that girl. Like, he didn't know. Like, there's no way of knowing. And then when he did, he told Mother's Milk, said, hey, I think something's up. So it's not like he just kept going around it. So overall, that's a thing where the Annie problem, like, again, it wasn't a huge portion of the episode, and they did resolve it. So I guess I was, fine at the end, but I thought it was not the best choice for the show and that character of Annie, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would, I think for the actress to be able to play that kind of villainous kind of approach, I like that.
That was
I think
fun.
she did a really good job. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, the way that the shifter just kind of was handled, I didn't really I don't know, for me it was just wrapped up too quickly.
And I hate that they died.
I do hate that they died. Yeah.
Like, because when Annie's skin was falling off, it was just like, like a skeleton, bone, muscle, tissue. Do they look like that all the time when they're not somebody? Do they have original form? I know that would have been like, maybe some people would have been disappointed by it, but I thought they were going to imprison the shifter, and they didn't. Annie just broke their neck. So
well, they don't have the shifter doesn't have an original form, right? Because we got some monologuing of them saying, I don't even remember what I used to look like. I touched my kindergarten teacher's arm, and I realized like
what they used to look like. So there still was something. There was still an origin point of they looked like something at some point.
Yes,
they got their powers,
but then
right?
it changed, right? Once they got their powers. So
yeah,
that definitely, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Good, and I think she did a good job. I really liked the interrogation of just like she's calling her out, like, "Oh, you pretend this is a bad thing, but really you feel shitty about it, and you're a bad person. You're doing noise, and because you do this and that." So I thought she did a really good job at portraying both of them, and I think she just made the shifter feel really creepy. Like, and that makes sense because what they're doing to Huey, but just like something very off and unsettling about that character. So I think that she did a very good job portraying that, because the other times the Shifter's been somebody that's just been running or doing just random stuff. So
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, I guess they got engaged, but we'll see if that happens. Obviously they're in trouble.
Well, Huey's got to propose again, right? Because the
Yeah.
engagement doesn't count.
Well, let's see if they make it first. Because who knows? They're all in trouble near the end there. But I want to get your thoughts on Butcher, because this is one where it's not a negative for me. I have to see where they go with season 5. I'm just in the middle of it, where this whole episode, it's I'm dying. They bring in Ryan, who, that to me is the same thing messy, where I feel like each episode they go back and forth of, did they want him to be the good kid that's going to turn, or is he just like his dad? In this episode, like, I don't know. It's weird that they've already, even this season, they reemphasize that they've given him kind of a compass to know what's right and wrong. But then they tell everything about Homelander's done and his reactions to kill Mallory, which, R.I.P. to Mallory. Been with her for 4 seasons, just gets her neck fucking broken. But so he's dying, and then he just agrees to let Jeffrey Dean Morgan take over. So for some reason, when he lets Jeffrey Dean Morgan take over, why is he just like healed? Why is he not dying anymore?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. It's just the V that he has, I guess. Like I really.
But he had
don't
told us it didn't
know.
work. Remember when Huey and him talked
Did,
about
but
it?
I have no answer for this. I really am not sure. I need more context.
Yeah. So that's what I need to see more and see what happened. But I just really hope it's not that like it's a mental thing of like, oh well, when he pretends to be the bad person, he's healthy. I find it just very odd. And that's why, again, where this is this is the weakest season. They just spend this whole season building up that he's running town, and then when he popped up in the clubhouse, he was just fine. He was moving fine. His red eye thing was gone. So I need some more. But would you feel justified if they say it's just like a mental thing, that when he pretends he's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he can get rid of it? Because for me, that doesn't really work when they've spent the whole season telling us it's like a physical illness,
Yeah, I mean, they're saying he's got tumors and everything going on, right? So
6 months to live, and he's near the end of that.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good considering. So I don't know. If they say it's just a mental thing, I'm not really gonna buy that. And I honestly thought
Jeffrey
he
Dean Morgan was like, "Let me take over." So that's what I took it as, right?
Yeah, I just was kind of going into this episode thinking, okay, he's either gonna die here or he's gonna. I mean, I was hoping he wouldn't die here, and that's what happened. He didn't, so I'm glad, because he's got shit to do, and I want to see him have that face off with Homelander, and I feel like, okay, we're gonna get that, and he'll die next season.
Yeah, him and Homelander are goners. They're probably gonna just die together and something like that. So, yeah, he gets that. Mallory, how do you feel about Mallory dying? And Ryan? Where are you on Ryan? Because we've talked about this before, where I felt like end of last season they had him smile at Homelander killing that dude, so he's evil, and then a couple times he's been good, and then he's been evil. And then of course it is a younger teen character, so you can say they're changing with the wind. For me, I think that gets you only so far, but. And I'm sure he didn't mean to kill Mallory, just like his mom, but he did. So what did you think about that whole scene and occasion or sequence there?
Yeah, Mallory definitely didn't approach it right, and I think it could have gone a lot differently if she just stayed calm and allowed Butcher to keep doing what he was doing, because what he was doing was working, and I like that moment between them. But
I think she was just worried Butcher was going to die before the plan worked, right?
Probably, yeah. So she ruined it. She botched it, and that's unfortunate because she paid with her life for that. So you have that. But Ryan is an interesting character because, again, he doesn't. I like what Butcher said to him. Like, I promised your mom that I would keep you safe, and if the safest place is in the tower with Homelander, if that's where you think the safest place is, then I'll let you go. Like, I love that so much. Like, that was a great line, and I think that really swayed him over. But yeah, he's just a very conflicted child, I don't know, like, it's a lot of pressure to just to dump on him saying you need to kill your dad. That's not gonna sit well with any
Yeah, that
child.
wasn't a great method to do it.
It's not the great, or the fact that yeah, your dad raped your mom, or like they were not stacking their cards very well in this moment. So I understand why he got conflicted, and it's unfortunate that Grace should not have pressured him like that. Grace should have just understood, like, hey, you're not going to be able to contain him. He's already at the door, so he can leave whenever. And I mean, that's what he did, and she paid for it with her life, and it's unfortunate.
Well,
We didn't get her much this season at all. I think it's just like
No.
this is the only time.
And she threatened them with those concrete floors or walls. She's like,
Yeah.
I can seal it and stuff. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but I guess I didn't have a problem with her dying because I just felt like she was desperate, and especially with everything that was coming down, with Newman being exposed, etc., with Butcher about to die. I think she was literally just doing Hail Mary because she thought, man, if I let this kid go back to him, that could be the end of us, right? So that's why I was kind of fine with, from her perspective. Again, for him, it was an accident for him to kill her. That's a big step for the character, so we'll see. Again, I don't know what's going to happen, but do you guys think the G-Man will show up in The Boys Season 5? I don't know who that is, so if you can explain it, Cycle Man, in a non-spoiler, don't give everything away, then great. Because even today I've seen there's like a picture, this is not a big spoiler for you, Taylor, but there's a picture from one that I'm guessing near the end of The Boys, and it's like Butcher standing in front of the White House, and then there's a bunch of soups flying in the air, and they recreated that poster with Homelander and stuff, so it's like an illusion for what's going to happen, right? So, but yeah, I don't know who G-Man is, because I've read comic books, big Marvel DC guy, but never had read The Boys, and I might, even though I hear from everybody that the show is like miles better than The Boys, that they do the adaptations much better, and The Boys is way more kind of, even more trying to go for the shock value stuff. So I don't think it's on the high immediate list, but so yeah, Butcher gets there. There's obviously we're going to talk about all the other characters as well too, but he gets to the clubhouse. They're making up this idea for Newman's going to turn herself in, expose all the stuff because she has lots of VOD info, all that good jazz, right? And because earlier we learned that, of course, all the files were deleted. And I guess I should mention this for this portion where they're on the news, their version of Fox News, and Homelander wants her to admit she's a soups. She won't, so he just lasers her in the face, doesn't do nothing. So that's where it's interesting because I thought they maybe made Newman a bit weak because why would she not just try to pop Homelander's head? That's what I was thinking the whole time, because I feel like she would know he's crossing the line and can't be contained, so you have to even contain it yourself. And it's not like it worked out for her because she was a goner anyways, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. How do you feel about even just Newman overall in this episode with the reveal of her to the world being soups, the president, they framed him for the murder, I guess, but then they framed some other people, and just the fact of, she's gone. She's a big character for multiple seasons, and just like that, it's over with.
Yeah, I was surprised that they killed her off, but again, it's something that I blame it on Ryan, because Ryan, I mean, he could have just made the right choice, and Butcher would have been like, "Oh, good son," and then not gone off to go kill her. So it's very unfortunate, but this is where we're at. I think it was kind of it's a sad callback because her daughter goes to the Red Room Academy or institution, which is very saddening. But Giancarlo Desposito is still out there, right? So maybe he'll adopt her.
Yeah, I guess so. The last time we saw him, he was with Newman, right? So I wonder what happened to him. So
yeah, she freed him.
But I just thought they were together. But were you fine with her meeting her end like that, like being done with the show, or do you think there's gonna be a bit more meat on the bone? And also the same thing I said that I found as a con or an issue. Did you find she just kind of gave up after Homelander revealed this stuff? Like, because we always wonder, like, could she pop Homelander's head? And I thought she was gonna try, and then it wouldn't work, and it'd be like, fuck, I can't do it. But I guess I just didn't buy her. She felt like way too much on the defense after that secret came out.
Yeah, she was in the defense, and I like how Homelander was just phased out and ignoring everything that was happening in that interview, and so basically he just he just lasers her, and then she just, like, her eyes glaze over, and it just is all downhill for her. So
yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Again, I'll have to wait till next season. I had issues with the Butcher thing, so when he came back looking all perfect, I was like, "Okay, what's going on here?" And the fact that he killed Newman, I don't know. I felt like they made a good case in the episode to sell, even though she was maybe enemy number two, why she has to stay alive, and for Butcher just to kill her. Again, this idea of if Butcher's kind of mentally possessed by the spirit of Jeffrey D. Morgan, who's willing to do his violent stuff. That doesn't really interest me because I like that last season Butcher we got a character of arc of him really caring about the boys and Huey specifically, right? Where they did that and they kept him away from the boys a lot this show, and I feel like they didn't interact. They kept writing in that him and Mother's Milk weren't getting together, right? So I was not as of right now, I was not a big fan of him just coming in and killing Newman. I thought it was kind of done for shock value, in my opinion. It just was odd to why he was so gung ho just to make sure she should die, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely a serious threat. So there's that. But I'm with Huey. It would have made more sense to kind of have her in your court. I think as far as Soups goes, she
pop a
definitely
lot of
was
heads.
very good. Yeah, pop a lot of heads. She's definitely a very powerful ally. So it's unfortunate that she's gone, and the tentacle stuff was just brutal. Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate to say the least. Especially because I guess her daughter would have saw that too, even though she got knocked out. I imagine her daughter's waking up, and I guess I will say it's shocking. Did not think Newman was gonna get it. Did not know. I know Homelander had said he took Temp V, but we weren't sure just V in general. But we weren't sure if he got any traces. 'Cause he didn't show anything. But I guess his power is just like a tentacle thing, and yeah, it makes an orphan there, and then. Oh god, what happens after that? He just kind of is gone for the episode. The next time we see him is at the end, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I really liked his call to Huey, so I liked that. But
that was nice.
yeah, so I'm mixed to positive on it. Need to see more, but I digress.
He's the only one who escaped at the end, driving away, listening to his music.
Yeah, and he's gonna be one that breaks them all out. That's why it's like for me, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, what a cliffhanger!" It's like. Is it a cliffhanger? I feel like we just know that he's gonna give no fucks this go around and want to break him up, in my opinion. So, I guess we'll see. Let's see. So Homelander, I guess we've talked about him, but kind of talked about around him. His first plan of killing Newman with the shifter that didn't work. So he's just an emotional wreck after. He's crying on the couch. And eventually Sage does come back and reveals that even if some of her things didn't work, she's kind of been working behind the scenes on certain things to expedite this process. So what were your thoughts there?
Expedite which process?
Gosh, who I was just talking about? I just slipped now too. We just had a double slip. Oh my goodness.
The double slip.
What was Homelander, because with Sage, she was talking about. Remember, she was talking about that. Even if she,
like it was his issues, right? Like he was bound to make mistakes, and it was all part of her plan.
And she was like covering for those as well.
Yeah,
too, right?
I think it's. I don't know. I feel like I have to attribute it to her because they got the result kind of what they wanted. Like she said, it was a little hard to get there and it was a little murky, but it also to me feels like, hey, you're this guy that's in the room and you're trying to show off what's going on. And it's a whole bunch of mistakes happening. You're like, oh no, I meant for that to happen. Yada, yada, yada.
Like when Newman's like, you got to take prisoners. And he's like, all right, yeah, I do that. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so, yeah, just very, very bold, but she's like, oh, we're going to go to phase 2, yada, yada, yada. I feel like she's got her plan, and the showrunners aren't even really properly letting the audience know what the plan is.
Yeah.
So it's hard to follow along with it. I just feel like at this point she's taking credit for just the different small victories that happen for the Soups. So I don't have much else I can really add to it aside from, I mean, it's probably not the last time that we're going to see her get her.
No, she's the lobotomy.
Hit.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
she's definitely gonna get fucking destroyed too. I mentioned at some point, but yeah, and interesting seeing with Homelander when he was just convinced that she left. He's like, oh, I threw her like trash. I'm not saying they're gonna become a romantic item, but I'm feeling that they're definitely gonna be more bosom buddies come next season because it felt like he really appreciated that she kind of stood up still by him, right? Other stuff that he's doing this episode, he's looking at his pubes again for some fucking reason. He even says, I just love, he's like, disgusting. Like, he's just disgusted with himself, you know? Before we continue, Psycho Man clarified, he said, won't spoil it, but it's basically the X-Men in the boys universe. So would they have time for that? There's always a chance. I could see them easily if you asked me, other than like a cameo or looting or just like a scene over on the side, I would say no. But I could see there being some sort of X-Men type of team in here because they try to parody everything. So if they're in the comics, I could see them trying to make that, and maybe Butcher works with them or something. I don't know. What do you think about this idea of the X-Men kind of light in Amazon Prime's The Boys?
It's a cool kind of concept. I think we're definitely getting that like through the 7, I would say. But I imagine this would be like a good version of that. But it's hard because like all the soups that are trying to turn to good, like Newman, are just being killed, right? So
yeah,
it's hard to say if we're gonna get that.
She was turning good, but it was a very last minute turning good. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know, she threw in the flag when like she literally had no other options. It's not like, well, you know, this is the right move to do. Her daughter was about to be killed. She got killed. I guess she probably shouldn't have taken that deal. But Superman Mike says, like the season overall, but definitely the weakest. Feels like a part 1, and when they split the last book in the series of 2 movies, I could agree with that. This definitely feels like that part 1-itis and everything. So I really want Soldier Boy to fight beside the boys against Homelander. That's what's tough because that was it's not an end credit but semi-credit scene where Homelander has been given the information where he can find what's his name, Soldier Boy. I don't know, because last season they made it pretty clear that he wants nothing to do with him because he thought he was a disappointment. Now I wonder if he's gonna wake him up when this like Homelander's happy with the world, so then he can be like, look what I built, the same way, he wanted me to do something. But I don't know how to feel with that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where I stand with that either. I feel like it's something we're just gonna have to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Let's see there. So what else have we talked about? We talked about Homeland. Oh, right. He also got mad at Ryan because he found that picture of Butcher, so he freaked out again.
Why would Ryan leave that out in the open like that? It was in a backpack, but like his shit was everywhere in the main living room.
Well, and it's like it doesn't matter too because like Homelander can see through a backpack, right? So it's
Yeah.
like you gotta get that out of there. But so we talked about Ryan a bit. There wasn't much more Homelander stuff going on, but and again, I thought it's interesting because they did hit upon that again. Remember the whole, where he grew up, and they talked about how you're always going to need kind of approval from somebody. When he found Soldier Boy, he was like weeping over his fucking like frozen body. So it's like, the guy told you you're a disappointment and fuck off. So I really don't know what's going to happen there. But I guess that will make it could play a lot with Ryan still around Homelander. And a big threesome of like son to father to grandfather in a way, right, of everything. I would actually like if Soldier Boy has a liking to Ryan and doesn't like Homelander. I think that would be really, really good. But even if Butcher's gonna die, I feel like Ryan. I'm still going with Ryan has to be the one to kill Homelander. Do you agree?
I feel like it needs to be that way, but I don't think they'll do it that way.
I hope it's Butcher because Butcher I think deserves it, but I just feel like that's how they're gonna do the. I don't know, the send off is that's how he's the new soup and this time he had to kill his father and so I really don't know. I'm trying to think. Obviously Firecracker not going good. That medicine seems to be backfiring.
Looked better in the back half of the episode, but
it did. It's funny though. I thought for sure, and so I worked myself into a shoot here, brother. I thought for sure when she was coughing that somebody, meaning Ashley, had like picked used that virus on her because the way she was coughing, her makeup's running, her eyes are starting to water. I thought for sure it was gonna go the route that I pitched. I thought for sure. Oh my goodness, I just lost my train of thought. I was having these late night reviews. What was I just talking about now? What was I just talking about?
You're talking about what's his name, Soldier Boy.
No. I thought I talked about Soldier Boy already. Oh, Firecracker. I thought for sure
That's
she
the one,
got
yeah.
sick. I thought for sure she was part of the virus, so I was gonna laugh if fucking Homelander was giving her a bunch of shit and she's just dying on it. But no, I guess she's just having a not allergic. I just probably something not good for the body. You're probably not supposed to be producing breast milk when you're not
No,
pregnant. But
definitely not.
she survived. They had this whole thing where they're gonna start killing Vought employees that they didn't trust, and then eventually Ashley figures out that she was on that list. And man, I was so excited. I know Psycho Man. You say, oh, I really want Soldier Boy to fight with the boys. I was pitched this a couple weeks ago of like I really want Ashley to team up with the boys some way or another, and I think it's gonna happen. I don't know what power they've given her. I feel like they're gonna give her a power that's not gonna do well for her. Like I don't think she's
She
just
can
gonna.
grow hair.
Well, yeah, that's about it. But I was disappointed that we didn't get to see the power. I thought for sure we'd see it this week.
It sounded
Deep.
painful.
Well, it did sound painful. Yeah, they had that moment with Deep fucking be like, "Tell me I'm the smartest one. Tell me actually I'm the smartest one other than Homelander," and then he kills the guy. So they've. I'm happy for the. I can't wait for the Deep just to get fucking destroyed next year again. A character that doesn't need any. Redemption. So let's see. Given that Soldier Boy is old fashioned, that might not like the world Homelander is trying to make. I agree. Like I just feel like from Homelander's point of view, there's no way around this other than I guess that's just saying, hey, I became the ruler / dictator of the world. I am a worthy successor of you. I don't know. It's an odd thing. So
Yeah.
let's see. So yeah, Firecracker, she was killing people. She was like running after people dying. Got some more Black Noir in there, which at one point he just had a heart on after he killed somebody. So
Murder boner.
Yeah, murder boner. That's something.
And he killed
there.
the wrong Ashley.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. There's so many fucking girls named Ashley. I can't tell you who that is. So, were you disappointed when you get to see what Ashley's power was?
Yes and no. I'm very curious what she has going on. I totally forgot that she has a wig, so I thought the Vought juice just totally just fucked her up and her hair just fell off immediately. So
Yeah. Oh god, Kamiko and Frenchie. We talked about this at the beginning of the season. Seems like for the past 3 seasons, seems like they're set up to be a couple, but they're going a different route. Sure, we'll go with it. I didn't really like the route with the route with I think his name was Ryan and he killed his family and I don't know if you liked. I don't think you.
I didn't like him.
No. So, but for me now it's like when you rewatch this, other than even then, I don't think any of it had a meaning because the one storyline was, hey, I've done a lot of bad things. I should go to prison. What happened? Well, Mallory got him out of prison, and he's gone. So then also we had this idea of, well, him and Kamiko can't be together for some reason. And what do we do here? They're together. I wish they just put them together in the first episode here, do some of these storylines with them as a couple. But sure, we got her first words here of her saying no. But I do agree with some people that maybe I love you would have been better. But I like these characters. I just think this whole thing was messy, and I feel like they thought, well, we can't just put them together right away. So let's create some obstacles that maybe don't make the most sense, and then eventually we'll get them back together. So I felt like not completely for their maybe not Kamiko's story, but more so Frenchie's. I feel like was a waste, and I feel like in general, just not. I don't know. It just felt like a waste of time now. Now that we know they're together now.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't make sense to have him go to prison, or I guess jail throughout the first half of the season just to hide him away. I don't know. He overcomes that, and so does Kimiko as well. But as much as I like both the characters, I don't think they were utilized very well in this season, unfortunately. But I really like Frenchie, and I really like Kimiko. So them being kind of a thing right now it's good in my books. But yeah, I feel like it took too long to get here. We didn't need to waste and do all this other mumbo jumbo that's now completely irrelevant. It's not going to be called upon in the final season. At least I don't think it would be.
What, them being together?
No, like just like Frenchie with his ex and
yeah,
like his journey and all that stuff too.
Probably
right?
not. They just accepted of like, well, we're right for each other. We don't have to be the
Yeah.
best, and moving on, which is like it's all right. But I I don't know. It just felt like they maybe could have done this episode 1, but they're like, well, we don't know how to write this relationship with these two, so let's have them broken up, and him can be with somebody else. So again, happy they're together, but just didn't love the journey we got to.
Yeah.
We talked about Butcher. We've talked about Huey. We've talked about Homelander. Mother's Milk didn't do too much in this episode. Did a lot of saving, but nothing with his family or anything like that. I'm trying to think, what other characters may I miss that we haven't talked about yet? I really liked the opening of when it was, like I said, I'll get the exact statement here that fucking the Deep said. Oh, where is it? Oh, I don't see it here. But yeah, they were just talking about like racism in a video, and he was like, I am responsible for, I take the responsibility for racism. So they just make it sound dumb. And then they also talked about they had a whole movie shot, but just axed it, and they made a Batgirl joke. So that was funny enough. But I'm trying to think, is there any main characters we haven't touched upon yet, or storylines?
Talked about Newman, talked about her daughter, talked about them.
I think that's it.
I think so. I'm trying to think of any other storylines, but I can't really think of anything. It's a big setup, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was trying to think if there's anything else, but I think we mostly covered it. I guess we forgot to say I did say a little bit. Newman's dead. They framed the president for it, and now they have a president in the office that like wants to be. His first call was to like be indebted
served to Homelander.
Yeah, and even in the middle of his like acceptance speech, Homelander like interrupts it and takes it over and everything. So that's gonna be interesting and scary. And it's weird because I always thought this one gonna be the route we'd go. I thought Homelander one day would snap, and then we'd see it. But it feels like it's just gonna be more in the guise of he's gonna do bad stuff. But it's like he'll have liars to tell people for the greater good. And then I get worried that when Homelander dies, there could be like fucking statues of him, right? Like they'll think he was the shit, you know.
And he did kind of snap this episode. I feel like with him like, Ashley, get me a list of all the people that have dirt on us.
Yeah,
and then kill them. It's like, well, that's snapping. That's definitely snapping.
But like the public wouldn't maybe know that, right? Like it is snapping, but I meant like a public. We got that last season, but I meant like killing many people in the public and heroes and stuff, which I think we'll definitely get next year at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything else?
Can't think of anything.
Can't think of anything. Then what would you rate this season out of 10 overall?
Oh, I would probably go. I'd probably go 8 out of 10. And I'm not giving it like, I'm pretty sure I'd given the other seasons a higher number, but I'm going with the 8 just because I feel like there's some things that are, I don't want to say filler, because with the boys, even the filler episodes always feel like they're moving the narrative forward. But I feel like we just got some stuff that wasn't necessarily done the best of ways in the show, or the season, sorry, I should say. But I understand it's also a setup, and so it's just comes down to a personal preference where like setup stuff just gets docked a point or two, and I understand that it needs to happen, but that's why I like the other seasons more, because you get a season that's start, middle, finish, and it wraps up its whole season of events in a bow, but it leaves things open-ended a little bit. Like with Stormfront, I feel like that season introduced her, and then it wrapped everything up with her in a great way, and it was like, holy crap, this is nuts. But I'm just telling myself that the next season will be it'll be heavily just balls to the walls, like getting it. It's not gonna have any setup stuff because we've already gone through all the setup stuff. It's just gonna be crazy.
I think there could be like a setup for episode 1, maybe episode not 1, but I could see one setup episode still doing Soldier Boy and what Butcher's been up to and the boys and Annie and everything like that. But I'll go 1 point lower. I'll go 7 out of 10. I think this is the first time I've gone that low. I think all the seasons have been 9 or higher. I don't think I've ever given a season something out of 10 because I feel like there is always some storyline, like some with the Deep or somewhere I'm like, oh, we don't need so much of this, but alas, we got it. So yeah, I'm gonna go 7. 7 is my range of like I'll rewatch things. I think this is more of a season that I would no. I guess that's a weird thing. I don't watch seasons of TV just by themselves, other than maybe Dexter, Breaking Bad. But I always start. I'll be like, oh, I'll just watch the first thing, then I keep going. So for me, I can't do that with The Boys, so I'll have to watch these things. But yeah, 7 out of 10. So it's not that to me is like a good. It's a good season, but definitely the weakest, and definitely some just kind of minor head scratching choices, and just a few forced. I know we just did Acolyte this week, but no pun intended. Just like forced issues there. So yeah. Anything else? Or is that it for this, boys?
I mean, well, it's interesting to see what Butcher's going to do with the virus. He managed to get it from Frenchie, so
yeah,
that's a big one.
that is. Hopefully, he can. I don't know. I was gonna say mass produce it, but I don't trust Butcher. I really don't. Not because I even think he'll set off. I just think he'll make something that could screw it up or something. So. But yeah, we will be back for season 5, maybe the trailer whenever we get that years from now, and I promise you, it'll not be boring.
Bye-bye.